The SEO community is up in arms yet again, this time because Google has released their generative search results, which is an AI search box that takes place on top of the traditional Google search results. And in this video, we're going to react to this and we're going to give some way too early predictions about how this is going to impact the SEO industry and the future of our business and how the sky's falling yet again, people. Let's get into it. At the Google I/O conference yesterday, Google reps released a bunch of information about the new generative search results. Now, we're not talking about Bard, which is a chat GPT competitor. We're talking about integrating directly into Google search. They went through and they showed a bunch of different scenarios. They're all pulling from this video. So I want to just play this video. It's a minute and a half, go through, do some commentary, and pull out any insights that we can glean so far. Because keep in mind, this hasn't rolled out yet. There's a couple more weeks until this actually hits our search engines and we can actually play with this in real time and make actual decisions. But I felt the need to react to this because this in particular has created so much buzz and so much negative buzz and negative emotion and energy in the community that I wanted to take some time to actually go through this and break this down and give you my thoughts on it, because I actually don't have a doom and gloom approach on this at all. So we play the video. First thing that we see is Google talking about how AI has been behind search for over a decade now. And I think that's an important thing to start with, is that when we look at this, something that we want to keep in mind here is that the search results aren't changing. The UI on top of the search results is changing. In other words, how customers of Google react and interact with search results, AKA trying to make it a better product. So AI has already been factored into their algorithm. Now we're just talking about layering AI on top of that in terms of how we interact with the search results. And they go through and they give a couple of examples here. So the first one that we see here is this says plans for a dark dorm room. So the first query that we see here is what planet is most similar to Earth. And the pop down that we see goes through and gives a generative AI result. I don't know exactly how this is pulling up, but I would imagine this is pulling from a bunch of different search results, AKA generative, that's giving us a result without us having to go to this. And we already see this similar to a no-click search in Google. If you Google what planet is most similar to Earth, it's probably going to give you a knowledge box or a zero-click search anyways. Granted, it will be pulling directly from a piece of content. So first glance here, we look at this. My thought is that this is just better for searchers. This is giving a more democratized, probably a more accurate, more true response. And this traffic is already being cannibalized. It's already providing no-click searches. A no-click search means somebody comes to Google, they see the content that they need, and then they're done. It's also interesting, though, is that we do see that there are some links here to other cards, to other websites. If we want to click on this and check out the sources, then we can check that out. But my first thought here is that this type of search has already been cannibalized, and this type of search has absolutely no business impact. And that's something that's going to be key throughout all this, is that understanding that Google's business model is twofold. One is providing the best possible experience to keep people coming back to search or to using Google. If they can do that, if they can keep people using Google, then they can sell ad space there. So the two things there. One is they have to do stuff like this in order to keep pace with the competition. In my opinion, as a Google user, this is amazing. As an SEO, my feelings are mixed, right? Because this is potentially taking away traffic. But again, this type of traffic is useless, has had no business value. And if you're creating this type of content for your clients, you're wasting your time and energy anyways. You're not really driving any meaningful business impacts. We'll talk more about that anyways. The other part of that, right, Google's business model is selling ad space. They're not going to completely demolish their own business model and blow up a $100 billion business based on that. So I would imagine that they're going to be very, very particular about search intent when it's conversion-based versus informational-based. Informational-based traffic, we've already known this for a while, has gone thrown out the door. And if you're focused too much on this type of content anyways, which we'll talk more about as I get into more insights in this, you're wasting your time and energy. You're not really doing what's best for your clients anyways. So that's the first one. Next one up is plans for a dark dorm room. Very similar list of plans here, better for searchers. I'm a plant guy myself. I would find this very useful. And then also linking out to these traditional articles, links, if you will, if you want to read more. But again, this to me is very good. But also keep in mind too, is that people are like, oh, people aren't going to click anymore. I think they absolutely will click. I think this is a good summary. And then you dive deeper into it. If you want to actually go through and buy these plants, buy these seeds, buy the planters for it, buy the seeds for it, whatever that looks like, buy a training on how to do this. Google's not just going to give you that information here for free. You're still going to have to take that action as a searcher. This is just helping you arrive there quick. Write me a poem about my mischievous cat named Whiskers using at least something, whatever. Again, as a business person, I don't see why this is meaningful or matter to the SEO industry. So you can do more, essentially just saying with a single search. So they're talking about now about how you're able to have a conversation more with Google, right? In terms of just getting to what you want. I think this is interesting. Now we're getting into more of the stuff that I care about, which is making money off of Google. And this is going into now of a shopping experience where it's asking about a dress to wear for a wedding in Miami. And what you see here, and it'll show more screens of this, I'm just pausing it for a second, is very similar to what we already see in Google. And that's when it comes to shopping. I think what a lot of people are fearful of is that you type in what's the best dress for Miami and it shows you a single one. Not going to happen, right? Just not going to happen, because the intent behind that search, people want choice. They want freedom of choice. They want to look at a million different dresses. They want to look at styles, colors, sizing, brands, pricing, all that different stuff. And there's plenty of space in here also for them to still sell ad space in here. So these results are still coming in the same way that they are now, right? Which is coming from Google's algorithm. And we have to try and fight to get our content ranked in there. This doesn't change anything on that from an SEO's point of view. It's still probably going to be a very similar process. It might change a little bit depending on what the rank factors are and how you can surface in the results, but it's still the same process. It doesn't change anything. To me, this is just a better UI for searchers, and aka a better experience for searchers, which is going to keep people coming to Google and keep people buying Google, which as an SEO is what you want. So you can also ask follow-ups here without having to reframe the question. This is interesting. This is pulling from YouTube Shorts, which is interesting. So maybe they're going to start integrating other types of content as well, which really opens things up. And I think as an SEO, I've been talking about this for a while, but not just looking at content as blog content. Content to me is a strategy, and then looking at the query type or the intent or where that person is, if they're on social, if they're in search, if they're on email, whatever it is, we want to make sure that we're delivering that in the right format. So not just jamming out blog content anymore, because one, if it's very high level, top level informational blog content, then it's probably just going to get cannibalized by people that are just asking for information, getting that information and leaving without coming to your website or having any sort of meaningful business interaction. But if they're going to start surfacing short video content, podcast content, which I saw as well, that becomes interesting. These are opportunities. This isn't bad, people. Just because you have to change what you're doing doesn't mean it's bad. It means it's an opportunity, because a lot of people aren't going to know how to do it, and therefore they're just going to blow it up and they're going to give up and they're going to go do something else. So I would love to see something like this, both as a searcher and as an SEO, connecting the best of webs compared to lunch spots that can be accommodated for large. So I love this as well, also as a searcher. If you've ever tried to use Google to find restaurants, reservations, ultimately what you get, if you probably took something like this and put it into Google, you're gonna get like a Yelp, you're gonna get like you're gonna get like a list of all these articles, or of all these search results, of all these other search results inside of an aggregator platform, right? Or like a listicle on like Timeout, which is biased, number one, which is slow, number two, and number three, you still have to click so much. So what this is doing here is it's putting it all in one place. And if you're a restaurant, right, put your mindset aside as an SEO for a second. If you're a restaurant, do you care if they find you via Timeout or via whatever? No, you care that people find you and they come to your restaurant and they get the experience. So what this is doing is it's surfacing results that are better for the searcher, that are faster for the searcher, which is going to ultimately help more people connect. Now, how we track that might not be traffic to the website, and instead actually tracking, oh my God, SEO is going crazy. We actually have to track conversions here, people, in terms of people showing up, buying stuff, making purchases. Businesses are actually going to hold you to real KPIs now. SEOs, don't shit your pants. But this is better for businesses. And if it's better for business, it's better for us as search engine optimizers, because that means we can help you make more money. And we are here. I have to say this low because people in SEO get offended. We're here to make people money. We're not here to get traffic and build cute articles. We're here to make people money. We're here to make people money. That's our goal. So this is a better experience that's going to help more customers find our clients. So this is great. Now it goes into comparing another one in here as well. Again, I think it's a great experience for searchers. We'll see how that actually ends up playing out. Run at 10K by the end of summer. Here's a training plan. Interesting, right? So it's pulling through multi-format, it's pulling through videos, it's pulling through an actual, now this is where, let's say that you own my wife and her best friend, she's a huge influencer. They run like a little fitness program together. This, and part of what they provide as an offer, is training plans and meal plans. And as soon as ChatGPT came out, I told her, I was like, you guys are gonna have to get off of this because this is gonna be commoditized. So this, now Google also infringing on this, encroaching into this, tells me two things. One, there is some things that AI is going to just steamroll, and that's okay. Because again, it's best for the consumer. The consumer can just go and they don't have to pay anymore for that information. So you have to understand what your value is to them. So what I told them is that when we really break down the offer of training plan and meal plan, what is it that we're really doing for people? Is it we're just giving them information that they could have gotten from Google easier, maybe with a little less friction? And this is current Google, not AI Google, which is going to be completely different. But really the value of a trainer, in my opinion, is accountability. It's motivation. So should we be shifting the offer away from commoditized information that they can get other places and focusing on the value that we can provide, which is that human element, that person-to-person contact on top of it, that's going to actually help them get in shape and lose weight. Because at the end of the day, this type of technology is going to help you as a trainer to build faster, better, more personalized meal plans and training plans, etc. But the value that you actually provide there is helping them get into shape. And it's not the training plan that does it. It's getting them to show up every day. It's getting them to do all the reps. It's the motivation. It's the attention. It's the accountability that the trainer can have a real impact. So these are the types of things that you want to be thinking about as a business, is that it's okay that AI is going to come in and wipe some stuff out. It's not a problem. It's going to take a lot of traffic off your plate. That's okay. Was that traffic actually providing business value, or was it just content? Was that traffic something that they could have gotten somewhere else that you just provide a little bit of easier a button on top of it? Like this is an example. These are the questions that we want to be thinking about and asking ourselves. Love video in there. I obviously make videos, so I'm ahead of the game, right? It's a hot dog sandwich. Interesting. I think they put that in here because there's a lot of heat on AI for potentially hateful, harmful results in terms of content, information surfaced. So I think they put this in here to kind of say like, hey, we're not the end all be all. We're really just helping to serve. Like Google's job is not to give opinions and give information. It's to aggregate and surface it in a way that's fast, easy, and best consumed for a searcher. So I think they put this in here, and then they put in, again, little YouTube short here in terms of people talking about that. So again, video content on YouTube, twice we've seen it in here, and not long form video. Well, we've seen long form video too, but now short style format. So creating content in different formats, using opinion as well, because again, so look at it this way too, is if we're saying, going back to that fitness example, that, okay, Google and AI is just going to steamroll because it can create your product. If you did meal plans, fitness plans, Google can steamroll and automate that. But something that Google can't do and doesn't want to do is opinion-based stuff. And unfortunately, in today's world, opinion-based media and content is really what drives so much of everything. It's why there's such a huge divide in our country. People fighting over things that the smallest people in the country are impacted by, but because it's a very emotionally charged and opinion-based content. So I'm not saying to do that. I'm just saying that Google's basically saying, in my opinion here, that we don't want to deal with the opinion-based stuff. And if you got an opinion, share it. Just make sure you tag it and classify it, right? Because we can still get you the visibility on it. Whatever you're looking for, of course, Google, same thing. All these different formats that we see in here, I love it. So going through that, I gave you a lot of my reaction, my opinion. I just want to summarize it with a few key thoughts here. One, I'm more bullish on search now than I was before. When ChatGPT came out, I'll never forget, it's one of those kind of like aha moments that you have in time, where I was sitting in my backyard by my pool with my wife, and I saw somebody tweeting about it, and I went and I checked it out and started playing with it, and I was like, wow. My time doing a lot of this stuff in terms of marketing might be limited, but as I've seen more stuff roll out and interacted with it, I'm much more bullish on our future. And now specifically when we're talking about search, I had thought that a ChatGPT style Bard thing was going to come in and basically just cannibalize all searches. But understanding that, one, Google's not going to blow up their own business model. Two, if they can provide the best searcher experience possible while still using AI, but still being able to surface conversion-based results. Three, off the back of that, conversion-based results, people want the priority of choice, right? Again, looking for restaurants, it's a terrible experience now for what happens now. Like Google's product has gone to shit, right? In my opinion, you look up anything for travel, you look up anything for recipes, anything for restaurant, even shopping's not that great. They're building a better product for searchers. Building a better product for searchers means that people are going to keep using Google search. If people keep using Google search, then us as SEOs will always have a job, right? It might shift a little bit in terms of how and where we get people visibility. It might shift a little bit in terms of now incorporating maybe a paid strategy, looking at a keyword in terms of what the intent is and what Google's triggering behind that result, and if it's even possible to get traffic for that anymore. I call this a bottom-up approach as opposed to a top-down approach. I'm filming a video on that now too. Somewhere along the line, SEO, this got bloated. We started creating content as a means to drive traffic, even though it had no business impact. And now Google's coming in and just leveling that off, right? Not intentionally to get rid of SEOs, but basically saying that content is not a great experience for people. People don't want to have to sift through 20 articles that are maybe true, maybe not true, or 20 listicle articles about the best restaurants in Miami. Instead, why don't we just provide that in one simple place? We're still giving the restaurants the visibility. We're still driving people there. We're still using the exact same ranking factors. We're still looking at reviews. We're still looking at social signals. We're still looking at link signals. We're still looking at content signals. We're just providing a better way to surface that to users. We've already been using AI in our algorithm for the last decade, people. Now we're just using it to help on top of the UI. So I'm very bullish about it, because while I do think people are going to lose a lot of traffic, even if they don't lose rankings, that's okay. We need to refocus what we're doing here as SEOs. I said it already. Our job is to make people money. It's not to rank them first. It's not to get them traffic. It's to make them money. And somewhere along the line, we lost that. It got a little bit too cute with the content. It got a little bit too cute with all this different stuff. The industry got bloated, and now it's going to get cut back a little bit, and that's okay. And the people who are going to make it through this, and the people who are going to be the ones that are thinking about their businesses, thinking about clients, thinking about making people money, using search as a means to drive conversions, not as a means to just get traffic. And something that came up, I don't want to pick on him because he's a nice guy, but Rand Fishkin tweeted out about how this is like the worst thing for publishers because they put in so much time, and all this content is actually training these results, and that Google's bad for this. Google doesn't owe us shit. How many of us have built an incredible living lifestyle, fed our families, built businesses, hired people off of Google, and it's been free? And all we've done is erode the search results and have them to constantly change the algorithm because we're just hacking away, figuring it out, and basically manipulating the results based on what our clients are paying us for. Google doesn't owe us anything. If anything, we owe Google everything. And they have every single right to change their product, to do whatever they want to provide the best possible experience to their searchers. They care about their customers. They care about their shareholders. They don't care about your opinion as SEOs. They don't care if you're creating content that you chose to do. Google never told you to do it. You decided to create the content about comparing planets and Google's now not going to give you traffic to your website. Who cares? Move on. Grow up. This is a business. Google's running a business. They don't care about your feelings, your emotions. They don't care. And you shouldn't either. It's time to grow up, people, right? We're here to drive actual business results for our clients and for our websites and for businesses. That's what we're here to do. And Google's happy to support that. We just have to work within their framework. So I don't have all the answers here. As Google rolls this out, we'll test this even more. But these are conversations that we're having every single day inside of our Slack community. If you're not a member, link below. Definitely want to check it out. Very low fee to stay ahead on the curve on everything that's going on in search and marketing, and also thinking about how you can provide the best experience possible to your customers and clients. So that's all I got. Make sure to drop me a comment and a like. I'm here for the debate, people. See you in the next video.